What's up, YouTube? Drill Sergeant here. And of course, we all know who this guy is, am I right? And we, people on the left, can appreciate the many images that we now have of this napping Nazi sleeping during a high-level cabinet meeting. It's beautiful, especially after this petulant toddler labeled President Biden as Sleepy Joe. The irony is not lost on the more intellectual half of the American public, I'm sure. Hopefully, his snoring will interrupt the entire meeting as his demonic sycophants plan the destruction of planet Earth. That's all we can hope for. But the people on the left, we people on the left, can also appreciate these images for another reason. When we see this orange blob of shit in a state of slumber, at least we know he's not currently making horrible policy decisions, huh? Like engaging in a tariff war while claiming to bring prices down, or committing war crimes in the Caribbean by murdering innocent people in boats, or committing war crimes against humanity itself by unleashing untrained, unidentified, masked, rogue, and out-of-control federal agents onto our streets that are kidnapping innocent people and sending them to slave labor prison camp for life without a semblance of due process. No justice. At least when he's asleep, he's not doing that. At least when he's falling asleep and drooling on the table during a cabinet meeting, we know that we are at least that far away from his next horrible decision. And one more thing. For us people on the left, we can appreciate these images because we know that while President Poopy Pants is asleep, he's not posting despicable and disgusting comments like this. Reading it may not give it the gravity it deserves. Let me say it out loud. Robert Mueller just died. Good. I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people. Nanny boo boo. This is not an adult. This is a child. The President of the United States, this child, actually posted this. Almost giddy, as he basks in the false feeling of some weird sense of vindication over the death of an American patriot. YouTube, this post is nothing more than a narcissistic ranting of a vile shit-gibbon. That's it. A creature whose only contribution to a civilized society is this type of invidious, nihilistic evil. It stands, in fact, as the single most disturbing quote from any president I've ever heard in my lifetime. And what's worse is, I'm not even surprised by it. This post lays bare the calcified atrophy of a weak, depraved, and demented mind utterly bereft of any sense of moral clarity. I'm truly appalled. I'm truly appalled and still not shocked. I find it increasingly difficult to actually adequately condemn the words of this maniacal madman. And maybe it's because every other day he reaches a new low, and the shovel that it takes to dig that big just doesn't exist. And so I'm stuck at the hilt end, constantly trying to find a better staff, a better stalk with which to reach those words. But I can't. He has succeeded in shifting the social norm, because I'm sure there'll be many who will say the same thing about him and will no longer feel embarrassment when they say it. And I'm not sure if it's good or bad. I just know it's been shifted. And unfortunately, unlike when Martin Luther King shifted the social norms, unlike when W.E.B. Du Bois wrote The Souls of Black Folk and shifted the social norms, unlike when John F. Kennedy made a speech that pierced the soul of the American human being, every one of them, that said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country, and shifted the social norms. This time it's been shifted by a gremlin who's had water poured on him in the middle of the night. So instead, I want to shift our focus away from this monstrous MAGA moron and leave him to his celebratory dance moves resembling an attempt to sexually gratify two tall giraffes. Oh, God. While we take a good, close look at the man that Trump says he's glad is dead. Stick with me, people. We're going to highlight and celebrate a lifetime of public service. And I have problems with him, too. I had problems with his rigid determination to follow norms that no longer suited the time. But on the other hand, he served the country as a true American patriot. Robert Swan Mueller III, the man his friends affectionately called him Bobby, Three Sticks, in reference to his patrician background. Bobby's career was defined by a deep sense of duty. It was beginning at St. Paul's School in Concord, New Hampshire, where he graduated in 1962. A natural leader on the field, captaining the soccer, lacrosse, and hockey teams. His teammate and future Senator John Kerry said that he was simply the best athlete on the field and quote-unquote savage. That's something Trump wishes someone would ever say about him, but they'd only say that about the smell that emanates from his diaper. Both of those men, Kerry and Mueller, Bobby himself, graduated college in 1966. Mueller from Princeton and Kerry from Yale, and both immediately chose to serve in the Vietnam War. They didn't have bone spurs. Mueller joined the U.S. Marine Corps, Semper Fi, right? Serving as a second lieutenant and leading the rifle platoon through intense combat. His bravery in the field earned him several high-level military honors, including the Bronze Star, 2 Navy Commendation Medals, a Purple Heart, which I'll remind you, you can only get after you've been injured in battle, the Combat Action Ribbon, the South Vietnamese Cross of Gallantry. And I just want to reiterate, that Purple Heart thing, Trump said one time when someone gave him theirs, "Well, I've always wanted one of these, but this way is a lot easier, I guess." Yeah, I guess it is. It's a whole lot easier. After the war, Mueller earned his law degree from the University of Virginia and began a long climb through the Department of Justice. He served as a U.S. attorney and then later led the DOJ's criminal division, where he oversaw massive cases like the prosecution of Manuel Noriega, you may know that name, and the investigation into the Lockerbie bombing. Mueller may be most famous for his 12-year run as director of the FBI. He took the job just 1 week before the 9/11 attacks and spent the next decade shifting the Bureau's focus from traditional domestic crime to global counterterrorism. Whether you like that or not, the undertaking is an enormous one. Let's just remember that. He was so highly regarded for his independence that Congress passed a special law to extend his term as FBI director for 2 additional years. He ended his public career as the special counsel investigating Russian interference in the 2016 election. And here's where this tweet comes from. And I want to say in the most tactful way, I found his dogged reliance on these norms that are not laws and rules to be a definite impediment in the furtherance of our country and our ability to get rid of this dictator before he became what he is today. I also understand that in 2016, someone following those norms only does so because you understand in normal circumstances, those norms are what help to keep that place, the FBI, separate from politics. He thought for sure that when he said, "Listen, everything I say in here is true, and I find it concerning. I'm going to have to leave it to you guys, the Congress, to decide what to do about it." He thought for sure that he had people in Congress that believed in the same things he did and would follow through with the rule of law. Unfortunately, he was wrong. When Robert Mueller passed away on March 20th, 2026, and was laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery, a final tribute to his lifetime of service is exactly what he deserved. He leaves behind his wife of 60 years, 2 daughters, and grandchildren. We offer our condolences sincerely, and we thank them as well. We know the family members of military and public servants make sacrifices too, and that definitely extends to you, with someone like him who spent a lifetime in service. Mueller's legacy with the FBI remains strong, widely respected as that of a leader that modernized the Bureau. Rest in peace, my fellow patriot, my fellow service member. I will miss you, and from all of us, you will be missed. Robert Mueller's legacy will be forever written in the history books, people, and remembered by his loved ones, his friends, and his associates. And Donald Trump's post, okay? His fucking stupid post about Robert Mueller will always be remembered as a desperate scratching of an egotistical charlatan cosplaying as a patriot. So just go back to sleep, Donnie. Just go back to sleep, Donnie boy. Just go back to sleep and just stay there for a while. Huh?
Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind. The kind that moves. But here's the thing. None of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're going to pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads. It's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works.